Hi everyone, this is Niall. This week we're going to be talking about charts in Excel, a very important feature. People want to look at charts, they don't want to look at data. So I've got this starter file set up for us. It's called charts.xl sx, and I want you to open it up and follow along with me. And now I have to say that this data isn't all real data. I just kind of threw a bunch of stuff together just for the purposes of showing you some different charts. So don't try and analyze this data. I know if you read anything about um, my spiel about data, information, knowledge, and wisdom, don't try to apply that to this example because this isn't real data. I just kind of threw it together just so I could make some charts to show you. Okay, first of all, I just want to show you that you can experiment a lot just by selecting a range. So I'm just going to select a range right here. I'm just doing this randomly. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm going to go over to the Insert tab and choose Recommended Charts and see what I get. So this will recommend a chart based on the selection, that my range that I have selected. So if you're not, a lot of times we don't know what kind of chart to use, but Excel can give us some tips. So it's kind of a good thing to just kind of experiment with selecting ranges of data that you might want to include in a chart and seeing what's recommended. So based on that range that I selected, it looks like Excel's trying to suggest a bar chart. I think there's about 50 different kinds of charts altogether in Excel, so there's a lot to choose from. All right, I'll go ahead and just cancel this here. Just wanted to show you that. And another variation of what I just showed you is that you get this button right here. This is called the Quick Analysis tool. If I have a range selected, I can click on this, and this will also, then I can choose, chart. I'll go to the Charts tab here, and I can experiment with different charts by using this Quick Analysis button too. It's kind of cool. So actually this way might be even better than what I just showed you before. Okay, let's start with a simple pie chart. So over here, this data that I've got, I'm going to usually with a pie chart, you want to just select a single column of data. Though just if you're dealing with a single column of data, that works well for a pie chart. Now I'm going to hit the Quick Analysis tool and show you something here. So if I go to Charts again, and then I choose Pie Chart. Now look, I'm getting the data, but I don't have the labels. The key or the legend at the bottom of the chart just shows 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I want to include the labels in this. And to do that, I'm just going to click off here. I'm going to start over again. This time I'm going to include these labels that are in this column just to the left of the data here. So now I've got my labels. I'm going to go back and hit that Quick Analysis button again and look at choose the chart tab here. Then I'll choose the pie chart, and now you can see that I actually have the labels in there. So a lot of times it's really important to get the labels in there so you can make sense of the data that the chart is summarizing. So I'm just going to go ahead and click this, and you can see that it puts the chart right in the middle of the screen right here, and now I can start working on my chart. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the title of the chart, so I can just click in here. And by the way, there's so many things you can do to a chart that I can't possibly begin to show you all of them. It's amazing how you can tweak a chart. But I'm going to change the title here, and let's just call that sales by category, I guess. Kind of making this up. Go ahead and do this with me though. And then if I hit enter, it thinks I'm going to add another row to my title or another line to my title. That's not what I want, but I can just click off the chart. The other thing, I can move this chart around. So, and I can resize the chart too. So if I want to make it fit somewhere else, I can kind of resize it to make it fit underneath my data maybe. Or I can actually move it over to another worksheet. Now I think we did this already once before, but I'll show you again. So I've got my chart selected here. then over here up in the ribbon on the far right, I've got this button called Move Chart Location. So if I click on that, I can move it to a new sheet by checking this radio button right here. And then this text box here is for what I want the new sheet to be labeled. So I'm just going to call that Sales Pie Chart. And then I'll click OK here. And you can see that I have a brand new tab over here. It's the label that I just gave it, Sales Pie Chart. And here's my pie chart right here. Now, really cool thing about charts here is I'm going to go ahead and go back to my initial sheet, and I'm going to jack up one of the sales numbers. Whoops, what did I do here? I'm going to make that equal to like 100,000. Okay, now my pie chart should have automatically gotten updated right there. So you can see how you change the data and then the chart will automatically be updated too, which is a really nice feature. Okay, you don't want to use pie charts if you're dealing with negative data. Let me show you what I mean here. So let's just say, I don't know if this makes sense or not, but let's just say we had negative 100,000 here. So I'm going to change that to a negative. And you'll see that my pie chart over here, we'll go back to the pie chart, it still shows up as a positive value. So if you're dealing with a column that has some negative values in it, you don't want to use a pie chart. So that's just a little bit of a warning for you. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. I did Control Z to undo that. And so that puts me back at 100,000 instead of negative 100,000. So I'm going to go back to my pie chart here, and I can actually change the type of chart after it's already been created. If I right click on the chart, there's this option to change the chart type. So I could actually change that to, now these are all the charts that I have to choose from. So some of them don't make sense depending on the data that we're using, but anyways, you can change the chart once you're done with it. I'm just going to cancel this right here, but so once I have a chart, there's all sorts of things I can do to edit it, and like I said, I can't begin to show you everything here, but if I click on this plus sign here, this will show me the chart elements, and so I can turn these on and off. You can see that if I turn the data labels on, it actually puts the raw data into the respective area of the chart. So, and there's actually more options for each of these. So let me see what happens here. I can just kind of change the appearance of the chart. You can kind of have a lot of fun just playing around with this. What else do we have here for the legend? What are the other options that I have? Well, I can change the position of the legend, so I can move it to the right, top left, and there's more options there apparently. Let's see what the options are for the data labels. So I can put the labels right inside each slice of the pie, outside the pie itself, best fit. So you guys can choose whatever you like best. I guess I'll go with this data callout, which puts them in these little square bubbles. That. So if I wanted to make this disappear, I could just go ahead and click on the plus sign again. This little paintbrush button allows me to change the style of the chart, and there's a whole bunch of them. So I think there's a 3D one here somewhere. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's for another type of pie chart. Anyways, I can put a background on it. This one changes the labels, so I can change the style. There's colors, so I think I can choose a color scheme for my pie chart. Kind of like that one. What was that one that I just had? This one. Go with that one. Oh, actually, what I wanted to show you is if I just want to change the color for one of the slices of the pie, I can select it by double clicking on it. So I'm going to take this one that's labeled books here, and then I can right click on it and choose the fill color. And whoop, that's not a good color because it looks too much like the one next to it. I'll choose a different one. There, that one's better. So I can, apply a theme of colors, which is what I had over here, or I can individually color each part of my chart as well. And we'll talk about what this filtering does when we have a different chart. I think it works better for bar charts. And there's even more options over here. This window on the right-hand side. Um, so I can format just the title, change the color. Let's see here. So I just changed the title to have a gradient fill background. I mean, it's just pretty incredible what you can do with all the choices you have. It's kind of overwhelming. I can change the size of the font, and if I wanted to work on the legend here, I could switch this drop down to the legend. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Oh, I don't want to do that. I'm going to put that back to the right. So I moved it to the right. And then I'm going to set the text options. Where's my size here? If I wanted to change the size, I think I can click on the legend itself and do font. And how can I change the size here so I can bump up the size? Well, it's in small increments, but I'll make it a little bit bigger. 11 point. You can see that my legend got bigger. So just a ton of formatting options when you're working with charts. Okay, another thing I want to show you is that I can right click on the chart somewhere, and then there's this select data option, and that will show me the range that was selected, or range is, because sometimes you'll have various multiple ranges when you create a chart. But if I click on the select data here, it will take me back to where my data was coming from, and I could change it right here if I wanted to. So a lot of times I use this when I'm grading assignments. I'll look at the chart and I'll select the data, that option that I just showed you, and just make sure that the proper data set is being used to create the chart. So that comes in handy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. It takes me back to my chart again. All right, hopefully I got the audio a little bit better now. I just listened to the playback of the video that I just created, and it's kind of choppy with the sound, but anyways, hopefully it's better now. We're going to make a bar chart now. So go ahead and let's just select, let's see, what is it, K4, all the way down to O10. Now, many times you want to be sure not to include the total in your charts, because I think that would skew the data here. Actually, I'm gonna include the total in here and just show you what it looks like, and then I can use this quick analysis button right here to choose a chart. So I click on that, and I go to the charts tab here, and I'm gonna choose I guess this clustered one right here. Now, I think the problem, if you look at this, I'll go ahead and create this. If you look at this, I'm going to blow it up a little bit, stretch it out and make it a little bit bigger. You can see what it's doing here. It's including the total in my bar chart, which is not what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and change the data that's being used here. So I'll right click here, choose select data. I got to rearrange some stuff here and get it out of the way. But what I'm going to do is, it's getting a little messy. Right, I'm going to select, you can kind of see what's going on in the background. I'm reselecting the range again, but this time I'm not including the total. Okay, and then I can just go ahead and close this window, and you can see that, oh, the total's still there. It's still got, okay, I'll show you another way to do this. I'm just going to delete the chart. So I'm going to click on the chart somewhere and hit the delete button. Chart's gone, and now I'm going to recreate it, and this time I won't include the total, and so I selected the range without the total column. I'll click on the quick analysis button, choose charts, and then I'll go back to that clustered chart right here, and now you can see that I don't have the total included in my chart anywhere. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move this chart to another worksheet, and you can do the same. After I'm going to rename it, I guess I'll change the title to sales by location, and then I'll click off of that. Then I'll hit the move chart location button, and I'll choose new sheet here, and I'll change the label that my worksheet tab is going to get. I'll call it sales by location, and then hit OK. And you can see that it moves the chart over to a new tab now. And all right, I think there's even more things you can do with a bar chart than you can do with a pie chart. So one of the things, I mean, you can still click on pretty much anything in the chart and start editing it. So here I've just got the blue bars selected, so I can start to um, format those. Just applying different fills. Go ahead and play with this if you want. Gosh, I don't even know what a lot of this stuff does. Okay, I'm changing the way the gradient looks, I guess, on those blue bars. Um, so yeah, I would just recommend that you click around and just experiment a lot. Whoops, if I wanted to remove the lines that appear, I can, so you can see I've got a lot more chart elements to choose from on this bar chart than I did on the pie chart, but I can uncheck this checkbox here, and that removes the grid lines. I'm going to check it back again and see what I've got the arrow for more options here, so I can just remove some of the grid lines. Let's see. So now I've got vertical lines in there. Okay, so I can choose how I want the grid lines to appear. I'm just going to turn them all off here. Um, I can put a table underneath the chart with this one, so that puts a table underneath the chart. And I can add a trend line, so that'll put a trend line. Let's see if I can select all these here. Nope, just one. All right. Okay, so I guess that just puts a trend line for, it looks like the Winona office. So I'm going to remove that. And actually, this is getting out of hand now. So you can kind of see, um, you can kind of see just how many options you have to mess around with these charts. So let me see. I'm going to pause and see if there's anything else I need to show you. I guess I'm just going to leave it up to you to experiment with this chart. So you should have a pie chart now created from this workbook, and you should have a bar chart, and go ahead and just get crazy and play around with it. There's another type of chart that I want to show you, and it's called a spark line chart. And I'm going to go back to our main sheet here that has all the data in it. Now, this works well in some situations, and let's see here. So I want to move my cursor over here. Okay, what I want to do is I want to get rid of this formatting window here, so I'm going to close that, and now I've got my active cell is Q17. So what I'm going to do here is make sure you get that cell selected as your active cell, and then I'm going to go over to Insert, and there should be, you'll see these spark lines right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on line. And now what it's asking me is what's the range that I want to use to make this little mini chart called a spark line chart. And I'm going to select this whole range here. So these are the sales by month for just the La Crosse office. Whoops, I'm using a keypad here, or a mouse pad. It's kind of hard to use. So once I let go of my range here, I should be able to click OK now. And you can see that that puts a little trend line chart right next to all my data. So, and then the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the fill handle to copy that down, and that'll make a trend line chart for all of the offices. So we got trends for La Crosse, Winona, Rochester, and Madison. And now this is kind of what I was talking about um, in the week 7 folder about um, how you can make decisions based on information and knowledge. So just by looking at this chart, I can kind of see which stores are trending up and which stores are trending down. So if I had to make a decision to close an office, um, this, I mean, you can clearly see that one of the offices is on a downward trend. Maybe that would help me choose. So by using these charts, here's a good example of the value of charting your data. Is I might not pick up on this trend by just looking at the raw numbers. Might be hard to see, but once you've got the chart here, you can definitely see a clear trend here. So it can helps with your decision making. I'm going to go ahead and delete these spark lines here. So I'll just select those cells and hit delete. That? I guess hitting the delete button didn't do it for me, so I have to right click and then choose delete here. Just click OK. Okay, well, I fumbled my way through that one, but I wanted to show you there's other spark lines you can create too. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cursor, make Q17 the active cell again, and this time I am going to choose a column spark line, so just a little bit different one. And again, I'll select the range for the lacrosse office, so that's going to be January, February, March, April, May, and June for the lacrosse office. Then I can just click OK here. You can see that now I get kind of like a mini bar chart in there. So this is still called a spark line, but it's a different variation. And then if I want to, I can go ahead and fill that down for the other locations. And then I want you to go ahead and play with editing these two. Up here, I've got some choices for, I can, so I check this high point checkbox, and let me remove the selection there. You can see that what it's doing is it's marking the highest bar in a different color. So let me, there's some other, I can change the colors that are used here. What does this axis do? I'm not even sure what this does. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try this. So now I'm starting to experiment. See what happens here. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Anyways, I think this is enough. That's a pretty long video to make you endure. But what I really want you to do is just to experiment a lot with all the charting capabilities of Excel. So for your assignment, you should have a pie chart, bar chart, and then some spark line charts on the spreadsheet. All right, have fun with it.